Welcome back to my channel. Today, we explore the value of specific coins, the most valuable 5-cent Jefferson nickels value in market in dollar. So let's get started. First up, the 1980 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark is one of those coins that many people come across in circulation, yet very few understand what it is actually worth today, especially in a condition known as very fine. This coin was produced at the Denver Mint, which is why you will see the small D mint mark on the front of the coin, just to the right of Thomas Jefferson's portrait. The design itself has remained familiar for decades, showing Jefferson on the obverse and his historic home, Monticello, on the reverse. The coin is made from a copper-nickel blend, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it durability for everyday use. It weighs about 5 grams and has a smooth edge, which is standard for nickels in the United States. One of the biggest factors that determines a coin's value is how many were made. In 1980, the Denver Mint produced more than 500 million Jefferson nickels. That is a very large number, and it means the coin is extremely common even today. Because so many were minted and circulated, finding one is not difficult, and this directly affects its market value. Another key factor is the condition of the coin. Coin collectors use a grading system to describe how worn a coin is. A very fine condition means the coin has been used in circulation and shows noticeable wear, but the main design details are still clear and easy to see. Jefferson's hair will show some flattening, and the steps on Monticello may not be fully visible, but the overall appearance is still decent and recognizable. When it comes to value, a 1980 D Jefferson nickel in very fine condition is usually worth only its face value, which is 5 cents. In some cases, collectors or dealers might pay slightly more, perhaps around 10 to 20 cents, but this is not common. The reason is simple. There are still too many of. Next up, the 1994 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark. You might be curious whether this small 5-cent coin could be worth more than its face value. At first glance, it seems like an ordinary coin that you might overlook in your pocket or coin jar. But when it comes to coin collecting, even common coins can sometimes hold surprising value depending on their condition and special features. The 1994 D Jefferson nickel was minted in Denver, which is what the D mint mark stands for. This coin features the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the front and his historic home, Monticello, on the back. It is made from a copper-nickel blend consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving it that typical silver-gray appearance. In 1994, more than 700 million of these nickels were produced at the Denver Mint, making it a very common coin in circulation. Because of this high mintage, most 1994 D nickels that you find today are not rare. If your coin has been used in everyday transactions and shows signs of wear, such as scratches, fading details, or a dull surface, then its value is usually just 5 cents. These circulated coins are still widely available and are not considered collectible in most cases. However, the situation changes when we look at coins in better condition. If your 1994 D nickel is in good condition, meaning it still has decent detail and not too much wear, it might have a slightly higher value to collectors. Even so, in this condition, the value typically remains low, often ranging between 5 cents and maybe 10 to 15 cents at most. The real jump in value begins when the coin is in uncirculated condition. An uncirculated 1994 D Jefferson nickel is one that has never been used in daily commerce. These coins retain their original mint luster with a bright, shiny surface and sharp details. In this state, the coin can be worth anywhere from 20 cents to around 50 cents, depending on how well it has been preserved. While this is not a huge increase, it still shows that condition plays a major role in determining value. For serious collectors, grading becomes very important. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers indicating better condition.
A 1994 D nickel graded at mint state 65 or higher can be worth a few dollars. These coins are considered high-quality examples and are more desirable.
Next up, the 2000 Jefferson nickel with a D mint mark. You might be curious whether this small 5-cent coin could actually be worth more than its face value today. Many people overlook modern coins because they seem too common to be valuable, but even ordinary coins can sometimes surprise you depending on their condition and unique features. Understanding what makes this coin valuable can help you decide whether to keep it, sell it, or simply spend it. The 2000 D Jefferson nickel was produced at the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the small D mint mark located on the front of the coin next to Thomas Jefferson's portrait. This coin is part of the Jefferson nickel series that has been in circulation since 1938. The front of the coin features a profile of Thomas Jefferson, while the back shows his historic home, Monticello. The design is simple and familiar, which is why many people don't think twice about it when they find one in their pocket. One important thing to know about the 2000 D nickel is that it was produced in very large numbers. Over 1 billion coins were minted that year in Denver alone, which means it is still very common to find today. Because of this high mintage, most examples of this coin do not carry a high value, especially if they have been used in everyday circulation. Coins that have been handled a lot usually show signs of wear, such as scratches, dull surfaces, and faded details. If your coin is in good condition, meaning it has noticeable wear but is still clearly identifiable, its value is usually very close to face value. In most cases, a circulated 2000 D Jefferson nickel will be worth around 5 cents to maybe a few cents more if it looks slightly better than average. Collectors generally are not willing to pay much for coins that are common and worn, since they can easily find similar examples. However, the situation changes when the coin is in better condition. If you come across a 2000 D nickel that looks almost new, with strong detail and original shine, it could be worth more. Coins that have never been used in circulation are called uncirculated coins, and they're much more desirable to collectors. These coins can range from about $1 to $10 or more, depending on how well preserved they are. The fewer marks and scratches a coin has, the higher its potential value. Next up, the 1974 Jefferson nickel. In your loose change, you might have wondered whether it holds any value beyond its face worth. Many people overlook these coins because they seem so common, but understanding their background and what collectors look for can help you determine whether your coin is ordinary or something a bit more special. The 1974 Jefferson nickel was produced in large quantities, especially at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark at the time. That means if your coin has no mint mark, it was most likely minted in Philadelphia. With hundreds of millions of these coins made, they are still widely available today, and most examples you find in circulation are considered common. Because of this, the average 1974 nickel without a mint mark is not rare, especially in lower grades. Condition plays a very important role in determining the value of any coin. When a coin is described as being in good condition, it means it has been circulated for a long time and shows noticeable wear. The design details, such as Jefferson's hair and the lines on the Monticello building on the reverse, may appear flattened or faded. In this condition, a 1974 nickel is typically worth around 5 to 10 cents in today's market, which is only slightly above its original face value. As the condition improves, the value begins to increase. Coins that show less wear and retain more detail can fall into categories like fine or very fine condition, where they may be worth a bit more, sometimes reaching 20 to 30 cents. When a coin is in about uncirculated condition, meaning it has very little wear and still shows some original luster, its value can increase further, possibly reaching 50 cents or more. Coins that are fully uncirculated and well preserved can sell for a few dollars, depending on their overall appearance and quality. However, the most exciting possibilities come from coins that have special characteristics. One of the key features collectors search for in Jefferson nickels is known as full steps. On the reverse side of the coin, the image of Monticello includes a set of steps at the base of the building. On many coins, these steps are not fully visible due to weak striking or wear, but on some coins, all the steps are clearly defined and separated. These are called full steps coins, and they are much more desirable to.
Next up, the 1994 Jefferson nickel with a P mint mark is a great example of how condition, rarity, and collector demand all come together to determine a coin's true worth in today's market. The 1994 Jefferson nickel was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is indicated by the small P mint mark found just to the right of Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the front of the coin. This design, featuring Jefferson on the obverse and his home, Monticello, on the reverse, has been a long-standing symbol of American coinage. The design was originally created by Felix Schlag and has gone through only minor changes over the years, making it one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. One of the most important things to understand about the 1994 P nickel is that it is not rare in terms of production. In fact, hundreds of millions of these coins were minted, meaning they are still very common today. Because of this high mintage, most examples found in everyday circulation do not carry a premium value. If your coin has been used in daily transactions and shows signs of wear, it is considered a circulated coin. In very fine condition, a coin will show moderate wear on the high points of the design. Jefferson's hair details will appear somewhat smooth, and the fine lines on Monticello, especially the steps, may not be fully sharp. However, the overall design is still clear and easy to recognize. This level of preservation is better than heavily worn coins, but it is still far from the pristine condition collectors look for when paying higher prices. When it comes to value, the reality for a 1994 P Jefferson nickel in very fine condition is quite simple. In most cases, it is still worth only its face value of 5 cents. This might be surprising, especially for those hoping to discover a hidden treasure, but it reflects the fact that supply far exceeds demand for coins in this condition. Collectors typically seek coins that are either very old, very rare, or in exceptionally high grades, and a circulated 1994 nickel does not usually meet those criteria. That being said, condition plays a huge role in determining value. If a 1994 Jefferson nickel has never been circulated and still retains its original mint luster, it falls into the uncirculated category. These coins can be worth more, often ranging from a few cents above face value to a couple of dollars, depending on how well preserved they are. Coins with strong strikes, clean surfaces,